If 100 plus people all keep saying the same thing, and they all live lives better than mine, they must know something I don't. I listened to a speech on YouTube. The ideas behind the speech were from this book, As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. The summary of the speech and the book were that man can't change anything in his life without first changing his mindset, perception, and attitude towards life before a man can expect to make any significant changes in his life. He must first believe he can do so. He must see his goals, his dreams, in his imagination, live as if they're already a reality, and he only needs to wait for them to come to him. Reflecting over his dreams, his goals, every single day, in order to remain focused and disciplined. A lot of law of attraction stuff, basically. And LOA was highly prevalent in many self-help books, so while the speech was pretty good, I'll admit, I assumed it was more bullshit. A lot of people who advocated for LOA seem to believe that all you have to do is believe you'll be successful. And you will. No mention of the actual steps necessary to achieve said success. Just believe you'll succeed. And you will. It just felt like more hope being sold for profit. But that speech stayed in my mind for the remainder of the day. And after I got home, I continued reading one of my many self-help books. And almost like a slap to the face, I realized something. This book was saying the same thing, fundamentally, though worded differently. The beginning chapters spoke of believing in yourself and reflecting on your goals in order to achieve them. You have to believe in yourself and believe you're capable of achieving X. First, after finishing that book, I picked up another and realized in the middle chapters of this book were the same principles on belief. They had the same message. I started freaking out and grabbed a handful of self-help books from my shelf and found the exact same message in all of them. Again, just worded differently, depending on the author. This is it, I thought. This is how they're making their money. They all sell the same shit to people, just worded differently. I had books published all the way from the 1900 seconds to present day 2019. And they all had the same fundamental message on achieving success in any capacity in life. You must believe and develop faith in your mind first before you can do anything. Surely this had to be some huge gimmick conspiracy, or authors simply read the same books I had and took the information that sounded good and copy it into their own books. It isn't as simple as believing in yourself. It can't be. That's too easy. But then I started branching out. I thought if I looked into financial books, biographies of business tycoons, the super rich, surely they'd say something different. Surely they'd have some scientific and logical explanation for how they reached their levels of success. I looked up guys as old as John Rockefeller, Edward Doheny, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford. I looked up present-day business tycoons, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Oprah, Zuckerberg. I even looked up rappers, actors, comedians, and entertainers. Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, Tom Cruise, George Clooney, Denzel Washington. I looked for as many motivational speeches and books from as many recognized rich people as I could. People that seemingly had no connection to one another whatsoever. They all said the same exact shit at one point or another. I ate, slept, and dreamt of this moment. I told myself every day that I'd achieve X success. I wrote down my goals every single day. I always imagined what my success would look like. I told myself I was successful, and eventually, I came true. Of course, there was hard work and persistence present in all these people, but all of them said it started with their mindset and believing in themselves. My perception of reality broke, so I tried it. Instead of trying some new method or practice of discipline, or trying to follow some new routine that would get me rich, ripped, friends, a girlfriend, and confidence by the truckloads, I decided to scrap everything and just focus on my mindset. Every day, twice a day, I'd reflect on my goals and what I wanted for my life. I'd reflect over them twice a day, once in the morning and once at night. After reflecting, I'd close my eyes for 10 minutes and imagine my life with my new amazing body, with my bombshell girlfriend, wife, with all the money I wanted, with all the confidence and self-esteem I could muster, with all the success I could envision. After that, I went about my day. I continued life as normal, not taking any actual action towards improving my circumstances, because, apparently, I had to believe I could first, otherwise nothing would change for long. Well, after a week of these mental exercises, some really weird shit started happening. I started thinking about my life more. I started looking at my life and wondering why I wasn't where I wanted to be. Soon, during my free time, I'd imagine more, visualize more. And the imagination practice I did start to become more vivid and real. I'd start to actually see the images I imagined in my head. And as I began to see them more clearly, I began to fill in more of the details that I before just left up in the air. I specified how I got the body I saw, how I got the women I was seeing, how I got the money I was spending, how I grew my confidence and self-esteem I was flaunting off. And after specifying how I got those things in my imagination, I began creating actual plans I could implement in my real life. Baby steps I could take, each day, to achieve the things I was seeing in my imagination. I noticed my internal dialogue was more positive and encouraging, no longer as negative and dismissive like it used to be in the past. I realized that one day, while thinking about actually taking action towards one of the blueprints I had written out, instead of my mind telling me, "Nah bro, that shit won't work. There's no point," it said, "What are you waiting for? Let's go." And I actually started working.